Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chasing the Truth. I'm Chase Steffes, and I know that you guys tuned in last time to check out my quarterback list that I made, 32 through 17. I will be making a part 2 to that starting on Friday. The video will be uploaded, and you will be able to check that out. Thank you all so much for checking out the video, liking, and subscribing. Please send it out to more viewers, have them look at it, and get it back to you. So this is Chasing the Truth. You will get all your football and baseball content that you want, news, updates, predictions, everything that you want here. Yes, I am a Browns fan. I will not be biased in these videos, or I will not be biased in these videos. I will be truthful, and I will go against my team if I have to, and I'm not scared to do that. In this video, we are going to start off by talking in the AFC conference with AFC teams, and I'm going to rank them on how they're going to do in the division, and I also am going to say which division's the best and which one's the worst. And to start off with, I'm going to go off of the AFC West. I think that this is the second strongest division in the AFC conference. I shouldn't say in football. In the AFC conference, this is the second strongest division. And I know that everybody's out there questioning why I'm saying that, because that's the division with the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Chargers. Well, here's why. I will get into this. Yes, the Chiefs are still the favorite in that division in the AFC West. They are the top favorites, and they are the team to beat, which I think it will be like that for the next couple years. But I do think that there's teams that are closing in the gap and have a chance to dethrone the Chiefs either this year or next year. And you are all sitting out there like, he's probably crazy. No, not really, because if you guys all remember back in 2018 when Pat Mahomes has his second year in the league, everybody thought it was his rookie year when he threw the 5,000 yards and the 50 touchdowns. No, it was his second year. His first year he sat under Alex Smith and learned. That was in 2017. He got drafted. 2018 is when he played. Had the 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns season. And in that season, they had to play against then I think it was San Diego Chargers, or maybe it was their first time being in the LA Chargers. But they had to play the LA Chargers, and I remember it coming down to the wire, and the Chargers ended up winning. Phillip Rivers played excellent that year, and that's why he's up and down, because he has good seasons and he has seasons where he's inconsistent. That was one of his good seasons. They went 12-4, almost dethroned the Chiefs for that division title, but the Chiefs ended up taking it in the long run and going to the AFC Championship. The Chargers lost to the Patriots in the divisional round, and then that's how the Patriots moved on to play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. But looking back at it, the Broncos have been not so well since Peyton Manning has left the team in 2015 after he won the Super Bowl. The Broncos have gone through 7 different starting quarterbacks: Case Keenum, Joe Flacco, Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, and I don't remember the other few that they had. The Raiders, on the other hand, have not had a good season since Jack Del Rio left the team. When Jack Del Rio took over, or before he left, I should say, the Raiders had a great season. Derek Carr was playing like an MVP. They went 13-3 that season, and he ended up fracturing his tibia the last game. Actually completely shattered his tibia the last game of the season. He was out for the playoffs, didn't get the chance to play. Had he played, I can almost guarantee you that team would have shocked everybody in the playoffs, and they probably would have dethroned the Patriots in the playoffs that year. But I believe that was back in 2015, maybe 2016 when that happened, and they didn't get the shot. The Raiders have been garbage since then and have not had the chance to do good. John Gruden ended up taking over this team and completely demolished the roster. They got rid of Amari Cooper, got rid of Khalil Mack, and got rid of a lot of talent that they had. It still has yet to be seen if he still believes in Derek Carr or not. My opinion, I think he does, but we'll have to wait and see how it is when the season plays out and how it is when it starts. I think that having the Raiders the way that they are in a rebuilding stage. They had 3 first-round picks last year. They used their first pick the number 4 overall pick on Cleveland Ferrell, the defensive end out of Clemson. Shocker pick to me, shocker pick to everybody. I figured they would go with Josh Allen out of Kentucky. Had 18 sacks and was a monster, but he fell to Jacksonville at number 9, and they got a steal with that pick. And then going to the 18th pick, they picked a running back out of Alabama named Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs was a kid that snuck into the league that nobody really looked at him as having the success that he did in college. But he had so much success, and then he ended up hurting his collarbone and had to have surgery on that. Same thing with Jonathan Abrams. Jonathan Abrams is a hard-hitting safety coming out of, I wanted to say Alabama as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. He came out of Texas A&M. Jonathan Abrams was a hard-nosed hitting safety. He was a guy I wanted the Browns to get, but with that 27th pick, the Raiders ended up getting a steal with that guy. That guy is such a hard hitter. He reminds me of an Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu type guy. He ended up injuring himself last year and didn't get the chance to play the full year. And that's what sucked. But, now they also have a guy named Max Crosby going on the defensive side of the ball. Another defensive end who is, my opinion, I think is going to be a good enough guy to go up against. Or, go opposite of Cleveland Ferrell. Then they ended up getting Vontaze Burfict in the linebacker core. Yes, I know that he has had his issues. Yes, I understand that he is a guy that shouldn't be in this league. I don't think that he should play. Bottom line, because he's a dirty player. But he is still a pretty good one at that. He ended up getting suspended, so that really didn't help him. But, who knows? Then you look at the corner situation. I know that they picked up somebody in free agency. I don't remember who. But you look at the offensive side of the ball. They got weapons for him. They had Hunter Renfrow that they drafted. They got Terrell Williams in the offseason. They ended up picking up a tight end, Darren Waller. And that helped them out a lot. And then you look at this draft. This draft, they got Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs is a speedster guy. And I'm telling you what, I know that everybody was dogging on him for not getting Jerry Jeudy. And yes, Jerry Jeudy is a good pick, but Henry Ruggs, they want the speed to match up on the outside and to be able to throw the ball deep when they can. That'll open up the holes for Darren Waller. That'll open up the holes for Josh Jacobs to get out there and go. And I know they beefed up that offensive line as well. Having that offensive line was a big key piece for the Raiders' success. Or for them to have success, I should say. And they also picked up Marcus Mariota to back up Derek Carr. They picked him up this offseason. And then they also picked Damian Arte out of Ohio State, the corner. The one that was opposite of Jeff Okudah. And everybody was questioning that pick. I think it's a good pick for John Gruden's system. Now, the Raiders, last year I predicted them to come in second in the division. They came in third, but they tied the record with the Denver Broncos at 7-9. The only reason why I predicted them to be second in that division is I knew that the Chargers would have a massive fall off. Everybody was looking at me like I was crazy, how I can just distinguish the Chargers and dismiss how good they really were. Well, Phillip Rivers has been wildly inconsistent his whole career and has not had a back-to-back season where he's had a good season, a good season, a good season. It's been good, bad, good, good, or good, bad, 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 good, bad, whatever. It's been in that order, or different wild orders. And all I'm saying is that I knew that the Chargers were going to have a massive fall off. So I knew that it would be time to step up. Now, I did not think that the Broncos would have that much success, but we'll get to them in a second. Now, the Raiders are now in Las Vegas. They get a whole new stadium. They get their own that they've been wanting for a long time. They got the rebuild that they've been going through. I think that if it comes down to it, the Raiders might come in second in that division, but it's going to be hard to tell with the way the Denver Broncos are playing. The reason why I say this division has become one of the toughest in the AFC is because the Patriots have been dethroned now that Tom Brady's gone. The team was not playing up to the level that it was competitive at last year. And the Dolphins and Jets still have a lot to prove and a lot to go through. I know the Dolphins are in a rebuilding stage, and the Jets, we still don't know what's going on with them yet. And the Patriots, we got to see what there is with Jared Stidham and that. They could have success, they could not. Who knows? Bills are going to win that division. That's going to be another video here. You got the AFC South and then the AFC North. We'll get to those later. Back to the AFC West. In the AFC West, I think that it could come down to the Raiders being in second place, depending on what the Broncos do. The Broncos, on the other hand, have stepped up, and they are the ones that have a legit chance to overthrow the Chiefs in this division. And I know everybody's probably looking at me thinking that I'm crazy, but it's not really too far-fetched if you think about it. Because look at all the acquisitions that they got. They have Bradley Chubb coming back off of torn ACL, going opposite of Von Miller. That's going to be a huge pickup for them. Not pickup, I should say a huge relief for them having him back. And then, they got rid of Chris Harris, but they ended up getting some defensive guys. I'm not really sure who all on the defensive side of the ball that they really have to work with. But I know that on the offensive side of the ball, they picked up Melvin Gordon to pair him with Peyton Lindsey. Peyton Lindsey was a guy that came into this league that was a shocker to a lot of people. Had a 1,000-yard season, was a nominee for Rookie of the Year that year. But honestly, it came down to Saquon Barkley and Baker Mayfield for that award. Peyton Lindsey couldn't go to the Pro Bowl and play, he went to the Pro Bowl, but he couldn't play in it because he ended up fracturing his hand one of the last games of the season. They also had Noah Fant, the tight end out of Iowa, who they picked up and I thought played really well last year. They have Cortland Sutton. They also just picked up Jerry Jeudy. And pairing him with the way that Drew Lock was playing, Drew Lock, like I said in my last video, had 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and only 5 starts to prove. And he went 4-1 in the starts that he had. And that is insane for a guy coming out of Missouri and a second-round pick who pretty much sat the whole season. And nobody expected him to play. And when he came in, he did pretty well. Now, I would encourage a lot of you to go back and watch how he played. I think he did pretty good, but that's just my opinion. Pairing them with Drew Lock, that could be what they need, the boost that they need to get over that hump. They've been in last place in the division the past couple years and haven't really done good since Peyton Manning left. They come in second place in the division last year and go 7-9. But with Drew Lock starting an entire season, having that offensive firepower that he has and an upgraded offensive line, not to mention the free agents that they had coming in, that team is going to be poised for a takeover of the Chiefs if the Chiefs' defense can actually hold its own and if the offense can live up to the way that it's been playing in the past couple years. So, to say that the Broncos are weak in that division is very underrated. I think if it comes down to it, the Broncos are going to get a wild card spot. They are going to probably get that 6, maybe 7 spot in the wild card race. And I think that they could win 10 games this year. The low end would be 8-8, 9-7, but I could say that they could go 10-6 this year and possibly in second place in the division. Or on the high end, if they get lucky enough or if they're good enough, then they might go 12-4. But, it'll be Drew Lock's second year. We'll see if that sophomore slump hits him or not, because he could have a year where it falls off and he doesn't play very well. But having the weapons that he does, having the firepower that he does, we'll see how Vic Fangio can work with that offense and if he can get that defense the way that he wants it to be and the way that he had it back when he was in Chicago. I think they'll be all right. Now, going into the last team in this division in the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers are the most, I don't know how you would say it, surprised team, if you want to put it that way, in this division, because they could sneak up on you and they could come win the division or they could come in last place again. But having Phillip Rivers gone, I understand Phillip Rivers was a inconsistent quarterback, but it honestly probably was because of the play that he had. He didn't have that good of an offensive line. He was always running around trying to make throws and trying to be the hero when he really didn't need to be. I think having the loss of Melvin Gordon really hurt him. Everybody doesn't realize how good Melvin Gordon actually is. And like I understand when he came back halfway through the season, he wasn't like playing the way that he did the year before. But that's also because he had that time off. He probably wasn't doing stuff. He probably wasn't in shape, and he had to get back into the football shape that he needed to be. And having Austin Eckler and him as a tandem would have been really good. Not to mention having Terrell Williams, which was a 6'4" guy that he really was like one of his go-tos last year because he had Mike Williams, he had Terrell Williams, he had Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry. Having those that guy, that 6'4" guy going up against somebody and then, looking to Keenan Allen as a dump down really helped out. I think having Terrell Williams gone really hurt him. I think having Melvin Gordon gone really hurt him. And I think having an inconsistent offensive line hurt him. But this offseason, they went after Brian Bulaga. Brian Bulaga was a left tackle for the Green Bay Packers last year. They picked him up and signed him as their left tackle. And to shore up that need that they really have. Now, I know the Chargers are going to go with Tyrod Taylor, and we don't know if Justin Herbert's going to start halfway through the season. We don't know if he's going to start the beginning of the season. But when he comes into play, I think he's put in a good situation to have success, especially with the weapons that he does have. I think Austin Eckler is capable of carrying this offense, but we'll have to wait and see. And I think that with Tyrod Taylor, he is more conservative with the ball than what Phillip Rivers was. He's not going to put you in situations where you turn the ball over a lot. He's not going to fumble it when he gets hit. He's not going to throw interceptions left and right like Phillip Rivers did. And not only that, you also have it as a learning experience for Justin Herbert. Now, I don't know if they're going to still try to sit there and be like, oh, we're going to have you play the whole season, or we're going to have you play half the season, or play in half the season. But when it comes to Tyrod, I know that he's going to try to teach Justin Herbert what he needs to do, and then when Herbert comes in, it's going to be what you're looking for. Now, going into the final here, with the way that the division's going to play out, I still think it's going to be the Chiefs. And here's the order that I have. You can fault me for this and say what you want, but I'm going to have it the Chiefs, the Raiders, Broncos, Chargers. Now, like I said, the Raiders and Broncos are right there neck and neck. I could see the Broncos overthrowing the Raiders and possibly overthrowing the Chiefs too. But like I said, we still got to see what Drew Lock is capable of. And I put the Chargers at the bottom because Tyrod, yeah, he ended up taking the Bills to the playoffs, but he's still not one of those top-notch quarterbacks that you're looking for to carry a team. And we still have to see what we got in Justin Herbert. If Justin Herbert can take that Chargers team to the next level, they are the ones that are going to overthrow that division, or overthrow everybody in that division, because the defense for the Chargers is looking scary, especially picking up Kenneth Murray in the first round, the linebacker out of, not Alabama, it was out of Oklahoma. Picking him up is a good pickup for them on the defensive side of the ball, and it's going to help them out a lot. But with Tyrod starting, I think they're in last place, depending on how they play, depending on how he plays. I know he's on a lot better team, and he's a better quarterback in terms of keeping control of the ball and not turning it over than what Phillip Rivers was. But yeah, there's my picks. I choose the Chiefs, the Raiders, Broncos, Chargers, with the exception of how Drew Lock plays, and if the Broncos can do it, then I can see the Broncos overthrowing the Raiders and making the wild card spot. But there is my picks. Chiefs winning the division, Raiders coming in second, possibly getting that 6th seed in the wild card, or the Broncos overthrowing them and getting that 6 or 7 seed in the wild card. And then the Chargers are going to be in last place, barring any injuries Tyrod and Herbert gets to start, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and leave a comment to see if to show me what you want to hear. Next video that I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be finishing the quarterback list that I made. I'm gonna do 16 through 1, and then the next video after that, we will head to the AFC South and talk about them and where they're gonna be standing out. Thank you. Have a good day, guys.